Soviets and Soviets of the Red Army, how y'all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
I'm Angry, hello.
And folks, we promised you more from the Steel Division Super Tournament, and we are delivering today over here on Shchedrin. Rang, who do we have with these kind of new, kind of sexy divisions?
On the left-hand side in blue, we have Brigadier General Tur playing as Skijager Vanguard income. Right-hand side, we have Iadris, whatever, he's 4th Guard Infantry, with also a Vanguard income.
Now, I'm so excited for the first Skijager because I love the Jagdpanzer Gazelles.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a simple thing, but it's such a fantastic idea too.
I do love the German ingenuity during the Second World War to try to stick an anti-tank gun onto anything that had wheels or tracks.
Including, in some cases, absolutely nothing whatsoever besides adding wheels and tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, Skijager's always fun to see because they got really cool infantry, cool airplanes, interesting tank choices. I mean, they got bloody KV-2s. Always a treat.
Well, we're going to have this actually happen immediately. The Storm Skijagers and the Skijager troops are going to go and give quite a nasty surprise, I think, to Iadris' 84th. Awfully light opening, I think, from the infantry perspective over here on the Soviet side. More of them have actually been concentrated to the north, but we are seeing early Superiors, so that's surprising.
Now, a lot of flamethrower troops, which is always pretty much the standard play for a lot of Soviet divisions, but also we're seeing a lot of these flamethrower tanks, especially down south, with the KV-8s. So, Iadris, he's bringing the heat.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even really notice the KV-8s, but you're absolutely right. And now, I know to the north there's going to definitely be some action going on up there, but I have to pay attention down to the south, because we also have that 145 off-map coming in to drop some artillery down on the Soviets. And the Boita T-34 85 is causing some issues already for that Soviet infantry.
Yeah, it's a real heavy push down south here from Brigadier General. I'm guessing once the off-map artillery drops and the damage has been done, he's going to push through that town, and he can easily do that with the forces that he has. He can bring out the Marder slightly up north into the middle to give some Overwatch support.
Certainly the hope. Now, like you said, are we going to see that push? We'll know in about 3 seconds. Well, maybe longer than that. It's, it's the whole time difference thing, It's a big issue there.
The artillery's in a different time zone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, there they go. There's actually a couple squads of Skijagers moving on in immediately. Actually, that's also being linked up at the same time. Actually, seeing another push of infantry up to the north. Central Hill is being contested by these guard squads, and only a Skijager MG42 to kind of go and keep things at bay. But yes, the town is fully in Brigadier General's control, I would argue.
I mean, he's pushing through it pretty hard. The KV-8 is... Can they go down to the Marder? No, they're actually both taking quite a while to kill each other. But yeah, I feel like what's going to happen... they do kill each other. Lovely, splendid.
Romeo and Juliet situation.
But yeah, if Brigadier General can capture the southern town, it's usually a really huge boon, because it's pretty easy to hold once you capture the town. At the same time, I think Iadris is gonna, not care as much, because he's pushing up north in the mid. Holding that central hill is always very easy to hold once you capture it. And if you have an IS-2, you can't... Skijager has a pretty hard time dealing with such heavily armored tanks.
Yes, that's true. Now, I would hope that this Pak-36 is just gonna wait and wait and wait some more before he actually has to shoot. Let the IS-2 get close. You're going to lose the MG. That's going to happen no matter what. So that's unfortunate, but you have to take that loss and don't engage.
Yeah, use that Andrus shell, essentially, to try and blow it up. That's really the only thing he has that can effectively kill the IS-2. He doesn't have any Pak-43s. I mean, he has, T-45s can't do a bloody thing against it, so he's going to have to bomb it to hell, or wait for it to get close. And usually you don't want to let a monstrosity like that to get very close to you to begin with.
Generally, no. I mean, we have seen, stranger things before Cotton, but I don't know that's going to pay off necessarily.
The town push down south has definitely been not as fast as Brigadier General. Getting a second off-map artillery barrage to get the next chunk of the, no, next block really of the town under his control. But I do like Iadris with his 85mm AA gun position, overlooking the town, given infantry and also anti-tank fire support.
Well,
Not for long.
I had not really recalled that the change in elevation is such that ridgeline, shall we say, actually overlooks the town. We see it so rarely utilized because they're so often in the weeds in that town.
Yeah. And it's also, when he zoomed out, it doesn't seem as much of an elevation gap as it is.
But that's quite considerable. That's 75, 100 feet right there.
So are you saying that 85mm gun has the high ground?
That I would, Anakin. That I would. And actually see that the 85mm actually does something, which is even more shocking. Now, the Pac-36 apparently didn't get the memo, and he's trying to engage this IS-2 from what was it, because he's completely dead, at about 750 meters, which is just not going to be a successful engagement at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, thankfully, we have a Sherman Vaughan coming on in with an 80mm mortar, so sometimes I would just love the pathing just to take him through the water, because,
I know!
Because...
You never see amphibious units actually do amphibious things in this game. I mean, it was also pretty rare in ST-44. But it's always nice to see, like, hey, it's actually being used for its intended purpose.
Exactly. Now, there's one squad of Strelkovniki still in this town, and one squad of Automachiki. We do have this reinforcement column being moved on in of Superiors with guard DPs, and even a combat officer. But that's not going to be enough, I don't think. Honestly, if the T-3045 moves forward, a couple hundred meters, really, you can start to see that artillery also comes in, and that might cause quite a hefty bit of an issue.
Yeah, the tank support has been really good for this town with Brigadier General at T-34 and also the mortars really providing just that little bit of extra firepower he needs to deal with these infantry squads. Because the Skijager infantry is cool and all, they are pretty good. They just don't have a lot of them in comparison to other infantry divisions. And also in terms of the actual numbers, they're usually only 9-man squads compared to your regular 10, or if you're Soviet, 12 to 20.
I'm sorry, I was watching the Gazelles down to the south, one getting taken out and hunted by that 45mm, as now the Martyr might give up its life to engage that anti-tank gun. But the officer, the damage has been done, the officer has been killed, which will make the lives easier for those Skijagers in town. Like, so they don't have to worry too much about, long-lasting morale effects, basically.
Yeah.
Anti-tank gun is dead, which means even further down south in that town is going to cause issues for the Soviets. Is that going to be maybe a bomber? Yep, YL2 coming on in, looking to find that T-3485, and there's not been a lot of anti-air support down to the south.
Yeah, so this could be a pretty easy kill. Skijager doesn't have a lot in terms of anti-air, so this would be a really good exploit for Iadris to try and use his air power to, well, do stuff. But he loses sight of the T-34 and gonna have to pull back around for another gun run. And that's two Messerschmitts which want to say hello.
Well, that's a nice thing. He welcomed a new kid to the area. It's a nice thing.
Greeting your neighbors and all of that.
Ooh, and that one yak coming in, it was meant to be air cover. He didn't even make it longer than a few seconds in.
Nope. It's always funny how a lot of the dogfights in this game always come down to just, like, head-ons.
Yeah, because if you think about it, it's like they would not be people doing head-ons.
No.
It's like you don't do head-to-heads for a reason. That's a nice way to go get a letter back home.
Yeah, it's usually a pretty risky maneuver, but everyone loves doing it here.
Well, they're knights of the air. They have to joust.
Yeah.
The two ME-109s do go down, unfortunately, before taking out that ground attack plane, which means the 84th still has a chance to take out the T-3485, which has already claimed one half-track.
I feel like Brigadier General's keeping the T-34 purposely behind a building, try to not get spotted by IL-2 because he knows he's buggered. But T-34 is seen.
Well, and then now we have two pack tracks, not pack tracks, anti-air tracks coming in, 3 actually being brought on in. So this is good. If nothing else, it can also cause some havoc among that lighter infantry as well.
Yeah.
Ooh. You saw that snipe?
Yeah, the little jeep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a pretty good placement. If he can, hold that road down, he can deny majority of reinforcements coming into that town.
Well, right now, we have this one Automachiki squad trying to redeploy to engage that pack track. And if he can kill the pack track, then there's a very good chance the Soviets, the Soviets could actually retake the town. Thing is, I mean, it's possible. It really is. But at what cost? This Gazelle has been able to hunt far more effectively than its namesake.
Yeah, forcing the infantry to disembark early, and now he's gonna back up as the T-34 comes in. Because that T-34 is a little bit more of a harder customer to deal with.
But despite the fact that in my mind I feel like that Brigadier General Tura has been controlling the map, he doesn't have that central hill, which means that he's losing right now on points.
Yeah, this is... I mean, Iadris is doing a very good play, trying to fight over his northern side. This is where his armor really comes into advantage. And yeah, I mean, that far northern side, Brigadier General can't do anything. He pops over the hill, he gets shot by 122 mil, which is usually pretty bad for your health, last time I recalled.
Yeah, you would think that. You would think that, but I think they say about getting more iron in your diet, it's pretty good for you.
I think that maybe be a little bit too much iron, like an iron overdose.
Ah, okay.
Like being stabbed.
Like a Magneto moment, got it.
Yeah.
But you can see right now a lot of the Soviet lines, I think, are bending rather dangerously.
Yeah, down south it's not looking too great. I mean, if Brigadier General can get his T-34s to kill the other T-34s, yeah, and if he can hold that town, that's a pretty easy thing to hold on to. There is an IS-2 coming in down south, and that is gonna be a big issue. But if he can maybe just not blow it up, but suppress it with lots and lots of high explosives.
He's got a Ju-87 moving in.
Oh,
and there is no anti-air from the Soviet side anymore, because that tank, the anti-air position has been taken out.
Oh yeah, cluster bombs don't care about your frontal armor. They only care about the top armor, and pretty much all of them are the same. Oh, 2 yaks. Will they clutch it?
Not before he gets bombs off. Oh, what were you aiming at? One of those yaks does go down.
Oh, that was... You really didn't need to miss on that. It probably would have been much better if he didn't, because... Yeah, losing that cluster bomb is going to be a pretty huge loss.
Oh, man.
We're very lucky for Iadris allowing his IS-2 to get into...
well, if maybe a little bit to succeed.
Try again. I mean, there's no airplanes this time, so maybe he can make it work.
Well, the funny thing is that there's only 2 anti-air positions for Iadris over here, and they're both to the north, like almost hugging that northern map edge. Oh, here's finally one being brought into the south, but it's not going to be in time for this IS-2.
You can hit it this time. Pretty hard to miss with cluster bombs.
There we go.
Yeah.
And that's a big loss there. That's a very big loss.
He's gonna really need to try to keep the rest of his cluster bombers alive and well, because they're gonna be his best stop in killing those pesky IS-2s. Up north, we're seeing a bunch of Chernos being rushed in. There's a Soviet aircraft trooping to try and do things.
Well, think about where they're being deployed, though, too. They're on the edge of the hillside. First of all, they're going to get engaged by this Pak-36 on this, little round top over here. So, when what? They get out, and what do? They immediately die, because there's a anti-air right there, there's a mortar right there, there's a T-34-85. The biggest, scariest thing is that IS-2, which is scary, don't get me wrong, but...
His pack gun could get the short-range kill, I think.
It can.
Oh no, he's slightly out of range.
Well, T-34 can also shift on up and hit it from the side.
Range. I want to see the pack gun kill it with the...
He killed it.
Oh, that makes me so happy seeing that little bugger blow up the big bugger. It's so... I said it again in the last cast, but it's so funny how the smallest anti-tank guns in game are also the strongest anti-tank guns in game in the right circumstances. But yeah, that was a really good ambush position from Brigadier General, having all his infantry round the corner. And now with the IS-2 dead, he moves up T-34 to give up fire support, and I mean, there's actually not much anti-tank here from Iadris, so a T-34 is pretty safe. And here's some off-map to try and spread some love.
I'm telling you, it really is little round top, big round top. Which, now that I use it, I realize talking to a man from the north, you do understand what I'm getting at with that, I would hope, correct?
No.
No, okay. So, a super quick history lesson in the middle of a history game. Battle of Gettysburg, American Civil War, there's a position at one point called Little Round Top, which is on the far end of the Union line.
Oh, is that the place where the Union dude did the charge down the hill?
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
that thing. I remember that from the Gettysburg movie.
Exactly. So, guys, if you are imagining Jeff Bridges leading a bayonet charge down a hill, then you're imagining the Little Round Top, Big Round Top thing going on here.
I didn't know it was called yet. I always just think of it as like the Union flank.
Yes, well, that's totally fair. I mean, the one side of the Union fishhook.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny. It never really occurred to me that sometimes we throw out some rather interesting historical notes. But yeah.
That's a bloody good movie, though.
Oh yeah, I mean,
especially the extended edition, which is
it's actually amazing.
Long.
But it's amazing.
It is.
And it's just so cool to see all the extras coming in as well. Like everyone in that movie who was an extra is a living reenactor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our Waterloo. I'm sorry, I'm gonna gush about that for the rest of the cast, but that's our Waterloo right there.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I totally get it.
And screw the South. But a couple guard squads down to the south, really the last major players before Brigadier General Tour actually breaks out here.
Yeah, it's actually working really well for the town. Didn't get it as fast as we thought he would get it, but he's pretty much under his control now. Apart from that one little, pocket on the southern side. But actually, it's a pretty good position for Iadris to be in that southern side. There's not a whole lot of infantry left in the town there from Brigadier General.
But Brigadier General at the same time, we have seen this happen from him before. One thing about Brigadier General is that he's the extremely deliberate player.
Mm-hmm.
Almost Montgomery-esque in that he kind of prefers to barrage the enemy into submission first, and then he engages.
Yeah.
So to see this kind of momentary kind of break here, you see him bringing in a T-34, you see him bringing up these anti-air squads to engage at close range. I mean, this is exactly what we expect from him. So
yeah, I do like how he's been using a lot of fire supports in the town to help out, and those bloody mortars have been on point. They use mortars. Just you win town fights with mortars, guys. Always bring mortars to a town fight.
Oh yeah, I mean mortars are any proper thing for any real moment. Anti-artillery, counter battery stuff. Yep, send mortars. It's quick. Yep. They're effective. They have good range. They have good targeting.
Can't go wrong.
Watching to the north, as we see, Big Round Top has been taken. Big Round Top has been taken, and now we're seeing the anti-air guns desperately trying to keep the Skijager at bay. But even if they take out those squads, that's a significant position.
Mm-hmm. We got T-34 coming to try and knock out the anti-aircraft guns, and if he can do that, it'll be pretty huge to allow him to bring some actual air power up north to help him out, especially cluster bombers if any IS-2s come his way. There's one IS-2 coming into the... I don't know where it's maneuvering, I can't bugging out. I think it's probably moving to the town.
No, so it's to this northeast of that building that looks like an E pointing down to the south.
Yeah, I see.
So that point for it is, just sitting right there.
Yeah.
Which I think, honestly, is probably the best call he can do. But that's awfully reactive. Like, you need to make a rather aggressive position when you're down on tickets and down on position.
Yeah, and you can afford to be aggressive when you have
an
IS-2, just as long as you don't get too aggressive and get killed by a Pack 36.
That was just unlucky. That was a lottery moment right there.
Yeah, we're seeing the KP-2 being brought in up north. Love seeing that big bastard with his bloody gun.
Soviet mortars, by the way, trying to take out their opposite numbers, and looks like they're able to win the initial duel, but they do it already, not being able to support the Automochikis that remain. Everything else is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the Storm Skijagers, they're actually in the water right by the bridge too, so they're swimming. But they have a rather advanced position there, so well done.
Yeah. Yeah, Brigadier pretty much holding, 14-10 over his opponent, just holding his ground, so to speak, nothing too crazy.
A couple of Junkers coming on in, and we might see one of them die here in the center. Ooh, didn't even get his bomb off the last second. The one to the south, did he get the bomb off on? He's going to get the bomb off over here on the Zis gun and takes it out. A rather significant engagement. Now, to the north, we do see a resurgent attempt by Iadris to take back that hillside.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in for him. I'm sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, just bring in a bunch of infantry and tanks to support.
I would say, regrettably for him, though, that it's still a T-34-85, which outguns anything he's got in the area. As I say that, of course, the Caster's Curse comes in and makes me look like a fool. So...
Small T-34 beats big T-34.
And you mentioned the Sturmpanzer, right?
Oh yeah, the KV-2. Which definitely just storms the hell out of that building.
Kind of a hideous thing when it all comes down to it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason people call the turret of it a barn door.
Really?
Or barn. Yeah, because, like, top of the turret kind of, it's like a bloody barn. You could fit a whole, you know, Noah's Ark in there.
I suppose I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. A very good reason the Soviets stopped making them.
Oh yeah, they finally realized that it's time to be sexy when you make a tank. I get that. Now, meanwhile, the hero T-34-85 from Brigadier General's side... I'm sorry, I'm listening to the constant thunk, thunk, thunk from the mortars. He's engaging a lot of this material as it's starting to come in, but the IS-2, I think, is going to play target for just long enough. No.
Here comes the clusters. Really hit?
Oh, jeez. He better. Otherwise, to the Russian front.
There it goes.
There we go, yep.
He can't really be sent to the Russian front if he's already
Yeah, part of me
all
kind of
these
said
guys
that.
already pulled a short straw.
I kind of said that to a certain extent. Yeah, forget it. You know what?
I can imagine that it's like a comedy skit. It's like, I'm gonna send you to the Russian front, but sir, I'm already here. I'm gonna send you even more into Russia.
The Siberian front. We have no troops there. Exactly.
You be the first. And probably the last.
The anti-air net down south has been brutal.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, I kind of like that we have this commandant between 3 anti-air half-tracks. deadly anti-net there. Now, infantry is starting to run a little bit drier here for Brigadier General Tua. I see a couple of Sturm Skijagers go to the north, and maybe another squad or two? No, an off-map being brought in instead. Okay. But I guess when you have a T-34 42 formerly, I was going to say it was a pretty good opportunity. But I've been wrong before. Yowza.
Yeah, that's often anti-aircraft now with the like 3-star 20 mil, which is quite deadly when you got those 20 mils up to such high veterancy. Holy crap! Yeah, that's pretty good.
At least their second kill, and possibly more than that.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the Sturmpanzer up to the north. Well, he takes out an anti-aircraft gun because I don't care about that. But 1410. Things are starting to look a little bit more dire here for the 84th. Even with the addition of a couple of Zis guns down to the south, I'm not really sure that I like their positioning.
Yeah, the real thing of 84th is it really all comes down to the IS-2s. You don't get many other tanks apart from those. I mean, you get more T-34s and whatnot compared to IS-2s, but really you're using those singular IS-2s. And in this case, Brigadier General has been a very good job with the cluster bombers to knock them out and keep them out of play. Because without them, it was just kind of a mediocre infantry division.
Now, we're going to have a meeting engagement to the north as a couple of Sturm Skijager squads move across at the crest of this hill. They're definitely going to push back the initial Russian troops that are there, just the Komrati and Machiki, but 2 superior squads with 2 T-34s backing them up. I think this is the right call to keep your troops just below the crest of the hill, kind of play it very Wellington.
Try and wait for them to come up or the other person to go down, whoever decides to attack first.
Which looks like Brigadier General says, you know what, damn the losses, full speed ahead. Not sure I agree with this one.
Yeah, even if some guys, I wouldn't want to be engaged in a tank with an assault rifle.
No.
Oh.
certainly not the fact that when I don't have more than, you know, a satchel charge or heat grenades to go after them, so...
Yeah.
That's why
Now it's down to a 915, which is... Yeah, this is looking pretty good for Brigadier General still.
Well, at least we have a couple of, you know, Junkers coming in to bomb this Soviet strike force. We're going to see that engagement happen very, very quickly.
And also the Junkers with the big bloody 250 kilograms, so with the accuracy in those things, that could be some dead tanks.
You know, not for nothing, but we don't really talk about how often or how the atmosphere looks. Like the sky itself looks absolutely freaking gorgeous. Like that is that's like a screensaver right there.
You can, if you look to the like southern area of the map, you can see like the moon in the sky. It's like super badass.
Oh wow, you're right. I've actually never done stargazing in this game, and I feel like I need to start at some point.
Yeah, like the skybox in this game. Heck, I mean this game looks really good when you zoom in. Same with all of Eugene's games.
6 squads of Skijagers being brought to the north, so I think the town is being given up on to a certain extent by Iadris. In fact, we just have 80 mortars and actually an FH-18 try to shell what amounts to the Soviet artillery park.
Mm-hmm. He's dropping in a big bloody off map here with 2 or 3 mills into the southern area of the town. He's bringing up infantry to reinforce it, so hopefully his guards will come in a nick of time once the artillery's been said and done to capture some easy targets.
That's true, and I think that's why he's dropping a beacon, because he thinks that that barrage is coming maybe just from that mortar. But, unsupported guards, though, not really liking the chance there. I am more interested to see what happens as the Skijagers start to go up this next hillside. They'll have the advantage of numbers. Obviously, cover's going to be in favor of the Soviets, but I kind of like their chances. I really do. Yep, 6 squads of them. Jeez, 50 men going up against half their number. Do they have any supporting fire? No supporting fire either, though, too, so that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, up north, Brigadier General pushing in onto the opposing hillside with a bunch of that's a lot of Skijagers.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's probably not the best thing for Skijagers is trying to ski uphill, but I guess it works for them.
Now, back down to the south, the artillery strike has come down. It's caused definitely some issues.
Mm-hmm.
And these guards are here. The guards are out to play. But I can't help but wonder if we're going to see maybe these anti-aircraft tracks slide a little bit further forwards to kind of start to engage these guards. There's precious little cover for them. There's a couple of lone buildings, but it's still 16-8.
Yeah. It's been a slow grind here from Brigadier General, and it's really starting to pay off now. I've really seen 1, 2, 3 IS-2s in this match, I believe.
Yes.
Which isn't a lot. You can definitely get much more with 84th, and honestly, kind of need more, especially in a scenario like this, because I mean, there's moving the infantry down south, but they don't really have any support. Up north, his stuff doesn't have any support. But I can understand why he'd be reluctant to get an IS-2 because they keep getting bloody cluster bombed.
I think that's more of an issue of not having maybe air power on hand or anti-air on hand when necessary.
Yes, that's definitely the case. Because it is pretty easy to keep those cluster bombers at bay if you do have the adequate anti-air, and mainly fighters to finish off those pesky Stuka clusters.
Well, the last barrage has been coming down south, and this is actually going to be very telling to see whether or not this town will flip hands. My guess is it probably will, but it won't be for long. Because now we're seeing the biplane coming the other door. Oh no, a Junker coming in. I thought it was going to be a spotter plane, but no. Yeah, this is quite interesting here. The last shreds of Skijagers being brought on in, and the mortars desperately trying to put up some sort of artillery cover to support their allies. But I do not know if this will be a successful assault for longer than a couple of minutes here. The Junkers, though, is sent packing, at least for the moment. And if I'm these guards, I don't want to move any closer. I don't want to go any closer to the front. This is a bad idea. You know the anti-air net is there. You've seen it take down more than one plane. You got to know that's there.
And I don't really have the... Well, I have close-range anti-tank, but... Ideally, in that case... Or, actually, those anti-aircraft guns only... They don't have armor. So those guards could actually kill them.
They could, yes.
Sorry to forget.
They could. That's absolutely true. But the DPs, I mean, that's still... You have to put an awful lot of investment into it.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Good point.
We are going to see an attempt to take back this central hill as Brigadier looks to kind of maybe clear up the last of the Chernos. And probably, again, we're going to see some small flip-flops of controls back and forth here. But this might be that Brigadier has these in the bag.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the case.
Which I feel, which would do my heart a little bit good, since Spence, they're so roughly handled by Herr Robert a short time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that 78th Storm deck was nasty. Oh my gosh, that was a hero
nice.
bombing run right there.
Holy crap.
He might pay for it with his life, but that kept that hillside really in play.
Mm-hmm.
And he does. Going to the south, arrive Storm Skijagers, and Skijagers are coming in to chase the last of the guards back. It's not going to be a bloodless victory, but it's going to be rather sweet. It'll be a rather sweet victory.
Yeah. Do you want to take us to ×2?
We certainly can. How about a 3120? Sorry, 3130.
Yep.
All right. So, as we go through the last couple of moments here, folks, we can definitely see 84th ran out of steam here, and I think you're right. I think that IS-2 play is really what kind of slowed him down almost to his own detriment.
Yeah, it pretty much came down to, because they really just rely on using those IS-2s to great effect.
Pardon me while I watch the KV-2 get attacked constantly by this IL-2.
Mm-hmm. It must have been so confusing for pilots on the Eastern Front and Second World War, trying to figure out who was who. I mean, you're already flying on an airplane, and friendly fires would happen when you're in, your proper tank. But imagine being a Soviet pilot, and you're seeing this battle of German T-34 tanks, Russian T-34 tanks, and try to figure out which T-34s are meant to blow up.
And the KV-2, and this and that. And just before he taps out from tickets, we are going to see a tap out over here from Iadris. And I'm surprised that the KD, as close as it was, because it definitely felt far more snowbally than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's a consequence, though, of that air power. I think you see that PE3 taking out 5 squads by himself, and IL-2, 4 ground kills, Yaks killing airplanes left, right, and center. So I think a couple of standouts keeping them much more competitive than I thought was the case.
Yeah, nothing. The IS-2s didn't really do that much, considering the IS-2s. Looking at losses...
Well, there's a PAC-36 that's got 4 kills, including an IS-2. Well, and a Cherno, but he's got 4 legitimate kills in an IS-2. Mm-hmm. 1 anti-air attack, anti-aircraft, 2 kills. Junkers, 2 IS-2s. I mean, that's the ballgame right there.
Yeah. And the mortar did pretty decent as well, at 80mm, knocking out 2 anti-tank guns.
Yep, and the Studebaker supply truck.
Yeah.
But wow, well done to Brigadier General. Honestly, that was a fun match to kind of watch.
Yeah, it was really cool. Seeing both of those divisions go at it, because they're both, kind of unorthodox, in a sense. And we love seeing unorthodox divisions.
Yes. But alright. Any last words?
None.
Well, folks, in that case, then, we will see you all soon. I guess until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.